We are live, Rhonda.
We are live. We are. And today is day 5.
It's the last day.
I know. It has been an amazing week. Lots of new ideas.
Yep.
Yeah, great input from people popping in and sharing information. We hope you've had a great experience. Come on in and say, hey, we're glad to see you. And we are ready as soon as I can click this button. I'll tell you what, Ann Herbster, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Rhonda Boyle.
Yes, and good to see you. Come on in. Today is day 5 of the Launch and Grow Challenge. I'm Rhonda Boyle here with Ann Herbster, and we are the co-authors of the Coach Business Guide, The Path to Launch and Grow Your Coaching Practice. And that's what we do. We launch and grow coaches, Ann.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
we do.
We hope that you have gotten your work mini guide and your worksheet, because this is an opportunity for you to follow along, answer the questions for yourself, but also jot down ideas that you may get from listening to us, hearing some new things that you can think about as you grow and market your business. That's our focus today.
Today is about growing and marketing your coaching practice. And so I think a lot of coaches, honestly, and what about you and your experience? They think that when they get their certifications and they put their shingle out, that build it, they will come.
That's right. And the reality is you can't just sit back and wait for that to happen. You've got to get yourself out there. You have to put yourself in the right position, the right places, meeting with the right people to get you where you need to go. And you got to market yourself, and market is much more than just your brand, but your brand is important. We're going to talk about that. And what does that include? We have some questions there, but you've got to get yourself in a position that people see you and hear you.
Yes.
And we're talking your ideal client, not just everybody, but you want to get in front of your ideal client. So this is
and you have to sell, Ann.
Selling. Yes, it is. I know that's a tough.
So let's call it sharing. Let's call it sharing.
Yes.
Or promoting. You do. I think coaches are shocked by this, that they really do have to get out there and sell themselves. And I know we hate that word.
Yeah, it's a tough word, but we're going to give you some ideas today. We're going to have you think about some things. We're going to start with your brand, and we're going to start with things like imagery and logo and website. And then we're going to really spend some time talking about networking. So let's jump in, Rhonda.
Yeah, let's do the imagery thing, because your image, like we're talking about things that represent you when you're not there.
Yeah.
What would that include, Ann?
So like photos, what types of pictures not just represent you, but also will be attractive to your ideal client. We're talking about imagery, things that they're going to connect with and feel moved by, feel inspired by, feel that, oh, I understand that. So that's the first thing. The second thing, your colors. We don't want you to spend a whole lot of time on this, but pick some colors that are also going to be comforting, that are going to be attractive to who your ideal client is. Imagery is also, it's kind of like emotional language. It builds that connection. Rhonda, do you want to talk about memes and what those are? Because people may not have heard about them.
Well, they've seen them and experienced them, no doubt. A meme, technically speaking, is a photo with a lesson. So the photo can be a lesson on its own, like you're trying to convey an expression, or you might have a quick tip or a quote. That's considered a meme too.
Yeah.
It's just like something that will convey the lesson or the message in a picture.
Right.
Really.
And we see them all the time. And this is an opportunity for you to think about creating some. So this is where, think about the work we've done to date, the work we talked about, how are you going to transform your ideal client? This is where we're pulling it all together and say, what's the language? What are the words? What is the imagery that's going to draw them in and have them reach out to you? So let's talk logo. We've waited till the end of the book to really talk about this stuff because everybody gets so excited about this and they want to do this first. And the reality is the other work that we have you do is so much more important.
Yes.
Than what your logo is.
It is. It's true.
Yeah. It's not about spending thousands of dollars to have somebody design a logo for you, but the logo does and can work for you when you're not there. Yep. It helps people see that that's you. But the reality is you don't need one. You can use your name. Your name in a fancy script can become your logo. But if you are insistent and feel you need to have that logo, you can keep it very simple, but it has to be something that reflects you, who you are, what you're offering, and who your ideal client is.
Right. And if you do choose to use your name as your logo, which I do on my personal business, I have done that. Make sure you put in a fake signature.
Oh.
I did not do that the first time. I'm just going to tell you. And as soon as I saw it, I went, uh-oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And I quickly was able to change it. So websites, let's talk about that too, because if you don't need a logo, do you need a website?
Not really.
Maybe not.
Maybe. You're gonna need maybe, but simple. You can go with a landing page.
Yes.
You can start with something very basic. There's software out there that you can use that you can create something really easy. Wix, WordPress, GoDaddy. I've used GoDaddy. I don't want to spend a lot of my money on a website. What I want to focus more on is how I'm interacting and engaging with the client. But maybe you can barter with somebody who will help you create something in exchange. Maybe you can do some coaching for them or offer other services. But the bottom line is start simple and let your website or your pages grow as you grow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You find a teenager.
Oh, yeah. Great idea. Great idea. Love that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, well, just to wrap that up real quickly, is that your brand, when you're marketing yourself, when you talk about brand, a lot of times people think first thing is like logo, website, whatever. But really brand is your whole picture. Mm-hmm. It's everything. It's your messaging, it's your pictures, it's the way you make people feel, and you want them to feel you after you've left. Like it's got to be stuff that still works when you leave the room. So it takes a long time sometimes to build that kind of stuff. And we don't want you to get really distracted by it because there are other things you can do that don't require a lot of time and effort and money, like referrals.
Yes. And let's start with that because that can be early on, especially your biggest source of new business. Mm-hmm. This is where you've defined who your ideal client is and having clarity around that and being able to describe to people who you are targeting is going to help them have a better idea and help them refer people they may know. So you want to start with people that you like, and you trust. And you want to ask them, this is my business. I am getting started. Here's who I'm attracting. Here's my ideal client. Can you help me? Do you know anybody who has this specific need? Or anybody who you've talked to? Or maybe you haven't, but if you're interacting with people and somebody happens to mention, I'm looking for somebody to help me with my fitness and my lifestyle changes, or I'm looking for somebody to help me find a job, or I'm looking for somebody to help me with my family. This is where I am focusing. Can you help? So that's a great place to start.
And right? People want to help you.
Yeah.
Like they can't wait to refer you to someone. Really, you really need to know that. But here's the issue is they need to know what it is and they
Mhm.
need to know exactly who you are looking for in a very short, quick little way, and that's the most
Totally,
important part, I think.
totally. So you've done that you've got your business you started. The next great source is people you've worked with.
Mhm.
You want to get testimonials. You want to ask them at the end how you've done, and they're excited. They feel you've accomplished something great besides offering the next product, because we've talked about that. Hey, do you know anybody who might need my services? I'd love it if you could refer me.
Mhm.
So they get them in the moment when they're really excited about where they've come and what they've accomplished, and reach out to them and ask them and ask. That word is so important. People don't know to refer you if you don't ask them for the
Right.
referral.
Now, with that, you have to make it easy. You absolutely have to make it easy because, like they're having a conversation. They don't need to be, first of all, forgetting how or not knowing how to reach you or how to make that connection. So you want to make it easy for them to send people to you, like a link to a landing page or
Mhm.
to your LinkedIn page or to anything
Absolutely.
else that
Yep.
tells them who you are, what you do, and who your ideal, so that you can speak directly. You want them to be the go between, but to send them directly to you. That's the whole point,
Right.
right? You may have a marketing brochure or something like that,
Right.
or you might want to just
Might be.
connect through email or messenger. And what other
Right.
examples do you have?
Um, I know this, some people think this is old school, but I'm a big proponent of business cards. And because they can be sustainable, they are something that people will keep going. The other way to do this is, as you continue to communicate with your clients, because it's not once and done. You see an
Mm-mm.
article, you see something that's really relevant, send it out. And at the bottom say, if you know of anybody, pass this along, especially if you know somebody who's interested in this,
Mhm.
because you'll always have your information at the bottom, and an easy way for them to reach you. So that's really important. And that's a great way that you can try and get referrals.
Yeah, snail mail too. Like, I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if y'all know this, but 100% of personally addressed mail, like somebody is opened. Think
Mhm.
about your own mailbox and what you get in. Everything is done computer generated or
Right.
labeled. But when you see one come in that's addressed directly to you, you open it.
Yeah.
You really do. So think about communicating with people, even sending them a copy
Mhm.
of the email
Yeah.
or the letter rather that you have seen. So let's talk about networking.
Mm.
That's
You know,
another way you want to grow for sure, y'all.
this can be really challenging for people. You may be really good at talking with people in terms of when it comes to coaching them, but when
Mhm.
you have to go into, and I've struggled with this, when you go into a group and there's 50, 25, 50, 100, 200 people there, and you're like, I know nobody here. How do I get started? You've got to go in with a very clear idea of who you are,
Mhm.
what you offer, and you want to pick events where there are going to be people where your ideal client is likely to be. Remember when we did that exercise and we talked about where can they be found? This is where you want to take that opportunity. So you want to make it count, because remember, you got limited time here. So you
Mhm.
want to go to an event or an activity or a place where they're likely to be found. And it's not just about finding your clients. You want to help other people there. And the reason we say that is this whole rule of reciprocity. If
Yes.
if you meet somebody, let's say you're in an event and you meet another coach, and you introduce yourselves and you find out, they say, who are you and what do you do? And you tell them, but you say, what do you do? And then you say, how can I help you? Well, they're then going to think about you, especially if they're not competing. They're going to think about you and say, oh, this person is genuinely interested in me. And how can I help? How can we help each other?
Yeah.
We talked about only going to those beneficial events. The other thing that I have found that does help this is if you go with a friend.
Oh, gosh, yes.
excuse me,
Yes,
you go with somebody
absolutely.
because you can go on your own and go meet people and then come back and say, how did it go? And booster each other up. And I've gone up and I see a group that is talking and there's a lull. I go up and say, hi, I'm Ann Herbster. I really don't know anybody here. I thought I'd just come and introduce myself. Very
They
simple.
can't wait to know more about you.
Well, Ann, what do you do?
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself. That's what those type, especially networking events, they're going to go, well, tell us about yourself. This is where you got to have that short little snippet of who you are, what you do, who do you work with, and what are the challenges that you help people overcome, because that's going to attract them right away.
But then immediately turn it back on them. What do you do? As soon as
Yeah.
you get your little blurb out of your mouth, you want to immediately turn it back on them. And if you can treat your networking instead, here's how I would love to challenge you is when you go to your next networking event, instead of trying to find business for you, try to find out about as much as you can about other people to find business for them, business or connections for them, because that universal law you mentioned, the law of reciprocity, it's absolutely real. And when you give someone business or you give someone help or you find a connection for them, they want to repay. It's just a natural instinct that we all have, built in. So be sure when you're doing that, you immediately turn it around to other people,
Right.
to how you can help them. And let's talk next about events and where people can find events and what events they should go to, because we told them they only go to those that are beneficial. Well, like
Right.
what kind?
Well, I think it depends on who your ideal client is. If you're let's say, for example, you're targeting small businesses, the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary,
Mhm.
alumni groups can be a great source because you've got such a diverse audience there,
Right.
especially if you're doing career coaching or career counseling, that type of stuff. Clubs and organizations can work if your target audience is there. Church, if you're going after, let's say, families or working, you've got a spiritual bent to what you're trying to do. There are paid groups.
Yes.
You can definitely invest in that, but they can be pricey. And you want to make sure that if you do go to paid groups, that those events have your ideal client, because you're investing money in addition to your time.
Well, I think there's also another paid type of group, Anne, a paid networking group.
Right.
They're usually very small. They limit only one person per seat in that industry, but they really go deep in getting to know your business. And then that's what they actively do, is search for business for their team, right? That's that type of networking event. And so that might be perfect for some of you who really don't like these big networking events, some of them where they have junk food that you're tempted to eat, or alcohol and those things, and you don't want to get in that mix. Think about those paid groups because they may be the right thing for you. It just depends on the mix.
So one thing I do want to talk about when you go networking, I want to share a little story, Rhonda. When I first started going out a couple of years ago, I was doing consulting and coaching, and I would go and I would say, I'm going to meet 10 people, 20 people. And it was a good size audience. So you could say that's a realistic number. And at the end of the day, I maybe met 10, but I only had maybe a handful of good conversations. So it's not about the number, the volume. It's about the quality. So it's not quantity. You want to get quality conversations with people where you really get to know them. And you could go around and just constantly hand out your business card without getting to know that person. That's really not ideal.
It's spam.
It is. But in return, if you do get business cards, you need to reply within 24 hours. If you meet connect with them on LinkedIn and send them a message.
Yes.
Especially if they could be your ideal client, send them an email with a noteworthy article. I saw this and thought about our conversation last night. Here's an idea that you might be interested in. That could start the conversation. You don't lead with your offer. You don't necessarily lead with what you're selling, but you want to be able to show value, and then you can go from there.
Yeah, they may not even be your ideal client. They may be your
Right.
perfect marketing partner, like your shared,
Mhm.
like there's some overlap or something. Like they know that your people. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just a couple of really good, deep conversations
Right.
is the way to go for
Yeah.
sure. I've been in that situation where somebody has like interrupted a quiet circle and spammed with their cards. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
So, Rhonda, we've talked about networking, a little bit about marketing. How can people use social media to get the word out and to find new clients
Mhm.
that way?
Well, people are very social in media today. And so you can talk, LinkedIn, maybe where you want to go, or Instagram or Facebook. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook. We
Yep.
recommend you pick two,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it, because you need to focus and you need to like just go to a couple of places every day. That's the main reason. But you also need to master a platform.
Yeah.
And so don't try to be on every platform out there. It's a big mistake. You will not be consistent. And this is where you'll never find your ideal client, because you're trying to be in too many places at one time. So pick two where you know your ideal client is actively engaged.
That's right.
Mhm.
The consistency is really critical, and we all fall down on that, where we jump in and we get all excited and we start doing it. Well, it's a lot of work. This
It
takes
is.
time to be able to create, but what you're posting, because you want to do a quality job, and then to keep it consistent and keep posting different information, different pieces, different memes, articles, etc. So there are tools that you can get. Many of them are free for the
Yeah.
basic set, and we suggest do it on a consistent basis so people begin to see you. This is where you can create an editorial calendar, and you can say, for example, every Monday I'm going to share an article. Doesn't have to be something you've written. If you had, great, but you can share. On Tuesday I'll do a meme. Maybe Wednesday, Thursday I'm going to do a video, or I'm just going to post something about my business, or I'm going to post a success story, something that you can do. And it doesn't have to be every day. It can be a couple days a week.
Mhm. Yeah, and be sure to outsource. Once you
Yes.
get that, the purpose of, learning and mastering an editorial calendar is so you can give it away to a virtual
Right.
assistant, or
Yeah.
hire a teenager, use the free programs to outsource and all that, which is exactly, you
Mhm.
know, how you
Well,
want
and
to
you
do
also,
it.
like Facebook, for example, has an ability to schedule out.
That's right.
So you take an hour on a week, on a time where you can be quiet and can schedule this. You create your postings for the next week or two.
Should we tell them our secret? Like sometimes we're posting and we're not even there, y'all.
Right, because you schedule it and you can pick the
That's
time,
right.
you can vary it. So we recognize that it sounds like, oh my God, I can't do this, this, and this.
Mhm.
You can do this. This can be done. You can
Yes.
hire somebody if you trust a teenager or a virtual assistant or somebody that can help you, or a system that you can get access to, can make your life a whole lot easier.
Right. Exactly. So let's talk quick about blogs. That's another thing. Blogs,
Mhm.
articles, get yourself heard and seen in professional areas, write to get published. Some
Right.
of you don't like writing. Okay. So talk.
Right.
Talk, and then use a system to download it and get a transcript of yourself and then edit it. So that can work too.
Mhm.
This may be where you need a ghost writer. But the bottom line is, wherever you are marketing, you want to build a following in your area of expertise. You want to be the master of that one thing, the one thing, And so
Mhm.
being published, a writer with even just blogs on your blog site, that's a way to do it. So we would highly encourage you to grow that way and hire somebody if you need to later down the road.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. All right. So, wow, it's
Yeah.
time to be done here,
Mhm.
Anne. I can't even believe it. Are we
I know.
finished? Like,
We did a lot over the past 5 days. We've
we
tried to share a
did.
lot of ideas and suggestions and tips to help you identify, plan, launch, grow your coaching business.
Yeah. So, we are so grateful that you came by and hung out with us.
Mhm.
And don't forget, we know you have challenges ahead of you and you need mentor coaches. You need people
Yes.
to help you with some of these things. We told you at the very beginning, and we talk about it in the book, don't go it alone.
Right.
Isolation is probably your biggest enemy.
Absolutely.
And so we know that the book has a lot of exercises to help you. And also, we have a free gift for any of you who have posted on each day. You followed our challenge each day. We will post the link in the chat box right after we're done and
Mhm.
let you go and pick up our free gift, which is the exercises workbook. So we have all of the exercises. There's 53 of them.
Right.
We have them all in an online editable version for you, and that's our free gift for those of you who
Right.
have hung out with us this week. So we'll
Plus,
pop that in there.
we will keep the videos up for a week. So you can go back and refresh, watch them again, pick up some new ideas, especially if you are doing some of the exercises, you may want to come back and look at them to see if you can get some ideas of what's going on.
There you go. But wait, there's
More?
more. We are so excited to announce the release of our new Launch and Grow Success Program. And it is a bit of hand holding. We're going to tell you a little bit about it. It starts June 21st, which is Tuesday nights. That's in Eastern time zone. It's
Right.
7:30,
10:30.
6:30. You'll have us for 90 minutes every week. And let me just say that we only have room for 6 people. We really want to only work with people who are ready to get themselves up and launch, because why? The world needs more coaches.
Right.
And so we want to work with some highly motivated people. And like I said, we only have room for 6 because we want to make sure everyone gets the attention they
Right.
need. So what else, Anne?
Well, and there are 5 sections of the book, and
Mhm.
each week we're going to do a different session: identify, create, plan, launch, and grow. And we're going to work on the associated exercises with them. And we've tested these exercises. We've worked with a lot of coaches to go through them to make sure that they're going to provide the right
Mhm.
help and support for you as you plan, launch, and grow your coaching practice. There's also, it's an opportunity to learn from others and to get new ideas. So you're going to have to work independently in addition to having the time with us. The videos, we've got a lot of videos that will walk you through each of the exercises and give you some
Mhm.
more ideas. And then you'll be able to reach out to us through our breakthrough process if you've got questions or you're just challenged and you don't know how to move forward. And anytime during the week, in between the training sessions that are being held. So,
Yeah. There you
Rhonda,
go. We have got a special introductory price for our Launch and Grow Success Program, but we want to tell you more about what you get. And let's start with, you get the print book. If you don't have it, well, you get it. You get an extra copy. We're going to send you one in the mail.
yep,
And you get our exercises workbook, which we just talked about. But you also get 39 training
that's right.
videos. Yeah, it's like a lot of work. It's about 6 hours worth of work,
Mhm.
valued at $1,800. And we just give you access to the videos. And sorry about that. We give you access to that so that you can pace through the work and get it done. I mean, we're literally going to walk you through it as you go through the book. And then coming back, we have the feedback form so you can prepare.
Right.
And then
And 90 minutes a week, Brenda. Yeah, they get
Mhm.
90 minutes a week, which is pretty valuable because you'll have both of us sitting there giving ideas and talking about things that are going to help you move forward in your practice.
Right. And it's the group setting with 6 people and us, just because that's small enough to keep you moving with individualized help, but it also gives you an opportunity to get feedback from other people
That's
too,
right.
right? So, yeah, again, we only have room for 6, so you need to be highly motivated. The schedule starts on June 21st. We do take a break for the 4th of July work. Yep. And we want to work with people who are engaged and are ready to do the hard work and get it done, because we need more coaches, Anne, don't you think?
Absolutely. The
So
world
let's,
does.
yeah. So let's tell them about our introductory offer and the value and all that. And I'm getting the link. Go ahead. Do you have that?
Oh, you got that. It's coachbusinessguide.com/launch-grow-success-program.
There
And
it
we put that in
is.
the comments section.
There we go. Okay, so if you want to join us for this amazing success program, then we would love you to follow that link and grab it. The value is over $5,000 of what we're offering here, but we have a special introductory rate of $249 because we want the world to have more coaches. So
That's right.
we hope that you will be joining us. Follow that link and we will see you. You'll get information from us immediately, and we will look forward to working with you on the 21st.
That sounds awesome. Hope to see you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. And with that, we are heading out for the day. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye.